Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Marguerite with Wreath by Marguerite here on our YouTube channel. Welcome back if you've been watching us before or watching any of our other tutorials. Today we're not exactly doing a tutorial. You'll still see the process of how this wreath is put together, but it's much more expedited because this is a custom order. I want to thank Lydia, one of my local customers, for allowing me to use her wreath on the YouTube channel. The process of making it, that is. She liked the wreath that I had that she saw at a show, but she wanted it to be a little more personalized, and for her the personalization is the horse ribbon. So we talked it out and this is what we came up with. We did it in a storm door style. Storm door style wreaths can be displayed anywhere, but what's unique about a storm door wreath is it fits between a regular door and a storm door, or a regular door and a screen door, because you have 4 inches of space between those two doors. And this style of wreath, while looking big and fluffy from the front, is really actually very thin. They vary from 3 to 4 inches. Let me take that down and give you a look from here. See how thin that is? It allows you to put something on your door without it getting crushed to bits like you would have happen with a traditional wreath. Traditional wreaths are anywhere from 7 to 10 inches, even more once you get bows and embellishments on them. So you really can't display those between doors without crushing them tremendously, and then that takes away from the beauty of them. So like you can see right here from the front, it looks big and fluffy. It still has a ton of ribbon on it. Gives you the same effect. It's more economical, as well as protected behind the doors from weather, wind, all the things. So that's another plus. So join me today while I make this wreath for my customer. Hi guys, today I am making a wreath for a customer request. So this won't be a full-on tutorial. I have all the materials prepped and I'll be just showing you how I do it without all the day-to-day information that I give in the tutorials. I usually in the tutorials go very detailed in the steps of how this is done. So today we're just going to put it together. I've got all my ribbon bundles cut. She wanted a horse wreath with black and beige. She loved this sign. She had seen something at one of my shows and we came up with this combination. So let's get started. Okay. First thing I do is on the outer layers, I'm going to put the mesh in. Ooh, flying ribbon. This is a solid colored mesh, so I am going to mark the center so I know to ruffle it up the center. Much more detailed direction is done in our tutorials, so follow the page and subscribe. You'll see what I'm doing in extremely slow motion so that you can follow along and do it yourself with one of the kits that you can purchase in our shop on Etsy. So we're just putting the mesh in vertically and horizontal pipe cleaners, making sure that the cut edges are covered and the outer edge is as close to a circle as possible. I skip every other pipe cleaner because I find that it helps the mesh to lay flatter when I do that. Let's find that center again. It's easier to ruffle up the center of the mesh when you have a design on the mesh. So since this is all one color, that little clip at the top helps me stay focused. I hope everybody's having a great day. This is for one of my friends locally that's a customer and also another vendor at one of the events I do. Lydia, she loves her horses and has been asking for me to do one, so I asked her if I could do it on my YouTube channel to show you guys how quick and easy it is once you get going to make a kit. When I sell the kits on my Etsy shop, they have all the materials prepped for you. The only thing that you have to do is prep your ribbon, and it's all measured out for you nice and easy so that you don't have to think too hard. When you buy the kits, you're also not left out with a bunch of leftover materials that you may or may not ever use. This gives you just enough to make the project in front of you. So that also helps you to decide if this is something you want to do again. And further on down the line, I will have affiliates to let you know my favorite suppliers, but we're just starting, so this is where we're at. Let's see, got lots of frays there. I have to cut that off. Mesh frays, there's just no avoiding it. Let's see, that is not even circular, is it? Oof. Let's fix that. Pardon the background noise if you can hear it. We've got lots of projects going on today here this weekend. You may or may not be watching this recorded for a later date. And I'll go back here and put mesh in between each of these. Use that clip to find my 5 inches. You always have that curl side down on this mesh, that way it sits right in your wreath. There are other techniques where it's slightly different, but this is called a storm door wreath, affectionately known as a pancake wreath. It's designed to be super thin and under 4 inches so that you can fit it behind a storm door or a screen door without it being crushed. I'll talk about that at the end as well. 3 times. Get that in place for her. Ooh. Sometimes it frays a lot, sometimes it hardly frays at all. That looks pretty good. Let's go on to the next one. So we put the first 6 pieces of mesh in first. Then we go back and we put in a layer of ribbon, tails. Then we go back and put in the, oops, I know. Then we go back and put in a layer of mesh. And then in this particular style, one with the MDF wooden sign, I'm going to put the sign in and then the final layer of ribbon. As you can see, I'm not using the ruler on the bottom because I've done a few thousand of these, to be completely frank. Get this nice and round. Put this in there. Nice and tight. 3 times. Cut side over outside over inside to cover the cut edges. That looks good. What matters is the outside edges. They're what's going to be seen. The inside edges do not have any visibility once everything's put on it. Just creates layers so that you cannot see the frame and gives it more fluff and dimension. There's 5 inches. I'll put that aside till the last layer. Knock some ribbon on the floor I'll have to pick up. There's multiple techniques, and in my videos I will show you a couple different ways to do this. I change it up a little bit throughout my creative process as well, just to break it up when I'm doing lots and lots of projects in a day. I've been known to do up to 12 wreaths a day when it's the busier show season, because I also do shows as well as create customs like this. The customs have become very popular in western Nebraska, the storm door style, because we have a lot of wind. So it's nice to be able to protect our investments. And these stay under 4 inches deep, so they can be put behind a storm door or a screen door without making them look crushed, versus a traditional wreath which is going to have a bow or embellishments or all of the above. And if you try to put, this doesn't want to cut. If you try to put a big fluffy wreath behind your door, behind your storm door or screen door, it's going to be interesting. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to look like somebody smushed the crud out of it, and we don't want that to happen. Right? Right. Okay. Look at those horsies. These are the choices she came up with when she was at a show I was doing. She wanted something with horses, but she liked the general design that was in the wreath I had at show. So she loved the sign. We found her some horse ribbon. And here we are today. So thank you, Lydia, for allowing me to use your custom order as a sample of how to make a storm door wreath. There are just endless possibilities with this style of wreath. You can add a bow if you're not putting it on a screen door or on a door with a screen door or a storm door. You can also just color-wise, the bottom line is you just want to match the colors that are in your sign and in your mesh. And I always use pipe cleaners in the mesh that are the same color of the mesh but match the ribbon that's on the top layer, so that if you're putting it on a door that has a glass window insert, you're not seeing all the mechanics, if that makes sense. I mean, if I were to put black pipe cleaners on the back of this wreath, and you had a glass insert on your door, that wouldn't look too good, would it? So that's why it's important to put that thought into providing the supplies you need for a special order. This will be the first of many orders that I create on the YouTube channel beside the tutorials I'm going to have for the kits that I sell, to give you ideas above and beyond if you are choosing to do more projects on your own. Plus, like I said, this is a custom order, so reach out. I'm more than happy to do a custom order if we can work it out. Price and time determine the cost of this. The more embellishments you do determine the cost for this. We're going to do it the opposite way now. The important thing on this layer is making sure that ribbon faces the outside edge of the wreath so you can see all the pretty stuff. There's almost as much, and I need to figure it out one day, I just haven't. I would say that there's almost as much ribbon in this style of wreath as there is in any other style except for the bow, except for if they have a bow. So you're not lacking on lots of pretty ribbon. And I always use wired ribbon for a variety of reasons. It's better made. It sits where you want it to a lot better. Unwired ribbon just has a mind of its own, which is not. What's wrong with you? Thank you. These are not my favorite clippers, but they'll work. So this needs to go down. This needs to go up. One more and the bottom layer is done. See how quickly you can go once you get the hang of it? Let's see. So that one was this way, right? Yep. Put that ribbon in there. See how getting everything prepped ahead of time makes it go so much quicker? You're not stopping and starting to cut and prep materials. This really makes a difference when you can do that. And when you're doing more than one wreath, if you're doing a bunch of prep at once, it really helps go faster. that's how I do it. I usually, for shows, I make up a bunch of kits, get them ready, and then fly through it. I think it was last year, so that lower layer is done. Bring the pipe cleaners up for the second layer. That's in between the mesh. So that's 3. I think was it last year? 4, 5. I pre-made, I want to say it was 72. Yes, I said 72 kits to make wreaths throughout the season, because the year before, let me see, the year after COVID, people were in a buying frenzy. And I was doing a lot of shows and couldn't keep up. I would go to a show, come home, and spend the whole week between the show, because I usually did it on weekends, having to make, I don't know, 8 to 10 wreaths a day to refill what I sold. And that was the 4th quarter of the year, from Labor Day till the beginning of December. And I vowed that I was never, ever going to go through that again. So that was what, fall of 21. So I guess it was 22. 22 and 23, I made tons of kits. Tons and tons of kits during the quiet months, which are mid-December to really the end of March. So that I had all this stuff ready to make for the holiday season when it was crazy, crazy. I'm doing this again every other tie. 5 inches. This is a lot more like how it looks in my studio when I'm creating. Things get a little jumbled up. But yeah, it just, and then I spent probably, I would say, July, because that's another month that things are kind of in transition between seasons. And I spent the month, when I wasn't doing farmers market and hosting in-person wreath making classes, putting them all together, as many as I thought I needed to get by. And at that point I had started renting a storage unit. That's some phrase here. Started renting a storage unit, so I actually had a place to put all the wreaths so I could give my husband back his garage, because I was invading more and more of his garage with rolling racks full of wreaths, and he was patient, but yeah, we got him his space back. So now, each year, this time of year, is when I plan out my holiday seasonal wreaths so that I'm ready to go. Oh, I was saying, in this area in southwest Nebraska, the storm door wreath is the most popular wreath out there because of the fact that you can put it behind your screen or storm door. They just love it here, so I sell tons and tons and tons of them, so that's exciting. When we first moved here 5 years ago, I had just started the business shortly before that, before we left Utah, and I was making big old fluffy wreaths. Don't get me wrong, I still make them and I still sell lots of them. But I had no idea what the people in western Nebraska were looking for. So fortunately for me, I found out about a farmer's market we have here in town. And it was free to the vendors to participate. I said, this is a great way to get to know the community for my local sales and to figure out, exactly what it was that they were looking for. And sure enough, just like one of my mentors, Melissa Morrow, said, people were saying, I like that, but, and it was always, I can't put it behind my screen door or my storm door, and I don't want it to fly away, and my front door is not protected. So I decided to jump into the storm door style. And that was the beginning. And that's also how I was able to make friends. So yeah, wreath making has quite a reach. This is the second to last. No, I still have 3. I still have 2 more after this to put on the wreath of the mesh. Like I said, it goes in vertically to the horizontal pipe cleaners. Tighten it up 3 times tight. Take that outer cut edge over the inner cut edge. Outer cut edge over the inner cut edge. Make sure your circle is as it should be. Cut off the frays. I'll fix all the ribbon on the bottom at the end. Got 2 more of these to go, and then the sign. No. Hello. Jumping ahead of myself. 5 inches. Turn that around. This is the view that you receive when you watch my tutorials, so that it can help you to see exactly what I'm doing at the best angle for putting together these projects. Make sure you check out all my other YouTube video tutorials. And if you like and subscribe to my page there. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and Pinterest, but it's not active right now, so I wouldn't recommend going there. But if this is an older video that you're looking at when the time comes, check it out. We're always trying to grow, always trying to teach, always trying to meet new people. Got 2 more after this, right? Yep. Curl side down always. Ruler or a cutting board, which is what I have under everything, to measure. Find your center, which I know how to do pretty well now. You would think after 1,000+ wreaths, right? I haven't counted exactly, but yeah. It's definitely in the 1,200 to 1,400 wreath range. And then I make some other little things as well. We'll see if that's something that we'll bring to this channel. Please reach out and give us any suggestions and ideas of things that you'd like to see. I'm more than happy to take a look at what you suggest and see if it's feasible. Okay, get those pipe cleaners up there. Okay, we got 1 to go, and then it's time for the sign, and I'll stand up for the sign. You can also stand to do this. I'm just a sitter. This is the end of the roll, so it's curling up a lot. So that helps. Pardon? I tend to have a cough every winter. It's not fun. 1, 2. Oh, guess what? I have a spare. Never mind. Okay. So now it's time for the sign. I like to turn my wreath around to see which ones I like the best as far as the mesh. on the rounded edges on the outside. And then I place one of my pipe cleaners at 12 o'clock and one at 6 o'clock, and then you have the 4 at the side. I attach this type of sign in between these 4 sets of pipe cleaners, making sure it's centered to the 12 and 6. And I use this little embroidery needle, get up there, to feed the pipe cleaner through the mesh, not through the ribbon, but through the mesh to the back of the wreath right next to these pipe cleaners. And I do it on the diagonal, meaning this way then this way, to keep it even and level so that it doesn't end up cockeyed. Get that in there, pull it through, and I make sure it's centered. Put my hand there and flip it over. And you'll see where the pipe cleaners came through. I twist them onto the wire backing, the wire base, till it's gone. I'm always making sure the sharp point of the pipe cleaner is underneath so that it doesn't damage the customer's door. Twist it till the pipe cleaner is completely gone, and then we'll turn it over. Get that fray off of there. I flip it over and do the other 2, this one and this one. Put it right next to it, put the pipe cleaner through. Come over here and repeat the process. Turn it back over. Put that pipe cleaner and then this pipe cleaner, and that's done. Now we're going to put the ribbon on. I gotta go around the table because I dropped some. Here. Now I know the ribbon isn't out on the bottom, but we'll fix that at the end. So I bring all my pipe cleaners up. And bring my last few bundles over. Okay. So I've got 6 bundles left. This horse ribbon is what's called directional. All the horses go in the same direction. So I flip them back and forth on the wreaths when they're like that. Gives it some more dimension. And then on the top level, I don't fold the ribbon in V's. I keep them straight out like they are. And then I fluff it out like this. And then I take my little piggy tails. I'll come back and stand up and fluff this a little bit more. I usually do 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock last. It's one of my quirks. So this one and that one should be the same. Skip one, go here. So it basically straddles the sign. Can be a little rough with the ribbon because it's got wire in it. It's very well made, and it's tightly attached in that pipe cleaner. Get that in there. Okay, and I'm going to, see, I'm trying to throw the ribbon again. So then, since the horses were on the inside, we're going to do the horses on the outside here. So see, I had the horses here and the plaid there. Now I'm going to do the plaid on the inside and the horses on the outside. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Sometimes you get these little bubbles in the ribbon when you're putting them in the pipe cleaners. It's okay, you just pop them out with your fingers. That's just from it having such a tight gather. It does it especially on thicker ribbons. Okay, and we'll go back over here. Twist 3 times. Pop those little bubbles out. So this will be the same as that one because it's every other. Twist that around. Okay, now we can do 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So this will go this way. And the horses will go to the inside of the wreath because on the other sides it's on the outside. I'll fluff these up better when I stand. Okay, one more after this, and then it's time to fluff the ribbon, position it, give it some curl, make sure it's correctly in there. I had one extra. This is in the middle. I'm going to do the piggy tails on this until I verify from Lydia whether that's what she wanted or if she wanted them tucked in. Okay, so now I'm go back and get this stuff all fluffed out. I don't think she's putting it on the storm door, so I'm going to make it nice and fluffy. And then we'll go down around the outer layer and get that all fluffed out. Let's see how it is. Okay, go back here. Nope, did it wrong. Okay, I guess I did it that way. The goal on the bottom is not to make it all curly, it's to get it out to the edge so it can be seen. And that Velcro, also known as mesh, likes to create havoc when you're trying to do this. I think I got it all. You can fuss with it all you want once you get to this point. Let's see, how does that look in the camera? All right, there you go. Okay, here's our finished product for our customer that loved the horses. Didn't they come out cute? I'm sure she'll be happy. Now you've seen very quickly how you can put together a wreath very simply with very simple steps. If you'd like to make some wreaths on your own, please follow along on our YouTube channel, subscribe. In the description, you'll be able to see how to purchase the kits. You need minimum tools to make these projects, things that you pretty much have around the house anyway. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'd be happy to look at making a custom for you. Look at the Etsy shop and see if there's anything else you might be interested. There will be kits posted in that shop regularly. Also, we are on Facebook, and we would appreciate it if you could follow us there and share with your friends. Have a great day.